Hello everyone, I'm Sean and welcome back to Awen Lutherie. So we're going to start this year off with something a little bit different. It's not a guitar build, it is actually a tool chest build. I want to build something nice just to house a lot of my tools for moving. It's nothing too fancy, kind of a frame and panel, I think shaker style. You'll have to correct me if I'm wrong on that one. But grab yourself a cup of tea, get comfy and enjoy. Now, I have all of the pieces, all of the rails and stiles for the frame for the carcass. It's a frame, is it not? For the main part anyway. It's all cut to correct dimensions, to final dimensions. It's all to width, to length, to thickness, the whole shebang. So what I need to do at the moment is, well, I need to get started on the joinery. And the first step of any joinery is to mark out where everything goes and where all of the cuts go. So I'm doing the rails are visible from the outside as full length. So what I mean by that will be my rear rail. These will be my verticals, and the verticals will be lapped behind. I should say, of course, the joinery I will be doing is half lap. Just half lap joinery. So what that means is I will take this and I will cut off a piece, the correct width of the adjoining piece, and half of the thickness. That's why it's a half lap joint. And I will do the same thing on the adjoining piece like this. So each of them will have half the thickness taken off, and they will go together nicely. And they should be very easy to do, quick to do, and they should look decently well. Of course you will see end grain from the sides, but I'm all right with that. And then I'm going to make a recess in the back for a panel to go into and glue the entire panel in around. On the sides I shall have runners for my drawers, so I'll have 5 on one side, 6 on the other side, and they will go the full length of the panel and they'll be glued in, and they should hold it all together and in place and should prevent any warping or cracking, I hope. Or else I'll just have a really big problem and I'll look like a fool. And then for the lid, I'm going to glue in an entire panel of 1/4 inch ply. I want to have areas for storing saws on the bottom of my lid, but that is loads and loads of space as it is there. So gluing in a 1/4 inch panel of plywood, something like that, will add a massive amount of strength to the top. It'll prevent it from bending and, breaking therefore. So I can put stuff on top of the lid, which defeats the purpose of a lid, but I think is important to have just in case. Yeah. So that's the story of my joinery. Now, this is what we get off the table saw. Spin around, you can see it a little better. So it's pretty good, but this one in particular, I hope you can see that there, there's a couple of ridges and stuff. Now, they're not that apparent, and even on the edges, it looks pretty clean. Let's just, where's the front? That's the front end. And that's the back, and there's the front. Yes, that's pretty good. Our 90 degrees are tight and flush. Slight bit of an overhang here. Well, that should be no problem at all. As long as it's consistent, it's fine. And let's flip it around and see what we on the outside will actually see. That looks pretty good. Let's just check and see if it's square. So when it's totally locked in, nice and tight, that is pretty perfectly square. And internally, bang on as well. So I am very, very happy with that. So I'm just going to get this leveling beam. Yeah, and I'll quickly flatten this face. Shouldn't take very long. I have an 80 grit and a 120. Bring it all up to 120 and that will be ready for glue. So I'm going to go do that on every one of the joints. Now I'm moving on to assembly of the frames and the panels. This is my back piece. So I have, you know, the lap joints there, the recesses for the panels there. Same with these guys. Recesses there, laps here, and I have that gap there because it was easier to do it that way, to be perfectly honest. There was only about a 1 mil difference between the recess and the lap, so it's just made my life so much easier. Now I've also decided for this, for a multitude of reasons, I'm going to dowel the lap joints. So I've cut my dowel pieces here already, just very slightly oversized. Now, the reason I've done that, first of all, is aesthetics. For better or for worse. I thought they might look good. I have no idea. Maybe I'll hate them. Who knows? But the now main reason is for alignment. I have just a bit here for a pilot hole. That's all it is. And then I'll bring it to the drill press to drill the actual dowel hole. And that is where we're going to leave it for this video, guys. So stay tuned for part 2, which is coming soon. As you may or may not be able to see, I have moved and the chest is a little more finished than what you've seen, but don't worry about that. So make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and choose all notifications to be alerted whenever I post part 2 of this. Thanks very much for watching, and see you again soon.